Now. An additional 1,100 National Guard members on the way to D.C.
It's a catch-22. It's like, how do you ask for resources and then try to control how they're being deployed?
We're in Anacostia asking how families are responding to the beefed-up number of troops.
That increased police presence deterring some people from going out.
Because they don't want to be randomly targeted or profiled or anything else.
The hurt it's putting on some D.C. businesses.
That fall feel that we had for our Monday looks like it's sticking around for Tuesday. But what about the rest of the week? That answer coming up.
Several Northern Virginia schools are set to lose federal funding for refusing to change their bathroom policies.
It's Monday Night Football for the Commanders as they kick off their first home preseason game.
I'm not necessarily every single game, I try to be, but Charles definitely tailgates every single game for sure.
The rain some of the fans put up with for a glimpse of what's to come this season.
Watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight for DC News Now at 9 o'clock. I'm Chris Flanagan.
And I'm Susan Tran. We are now expecting to see more than 1,100 National Guard troops in the district from at least 6 different Republican-led states. We're talking about Mississippi, Tennessee, and Louisiana, joining South Carolina, Ohio, and West Virginia, who are all sending hundreds of troops each. The White House says some of the Guard members on patrol may soon carry guns, but the Army says they will not be making arrests.
The news of even more service members comes as their presence is already heavily felt. You can see here in this video, National Guard troops seen patrolling around Union Station. They've been camped out there at the transportation hub most days over the past week or so. It's officially been a week since President Trump federalized the D.C. police force and deployed the National Guard.
That's right. And the administration saying that the federal agents have made hundreds of arrests at this point. D.C. News Now's Ben Dennis out there in Southeast, where families say that they've seen the federal officers and all the troops patrolling the streets.
Yeah, and Ben, the mayor today very critical of the sudden influx of National Guard members far from D.C. What is the temperature like there on the ground?
Well, we were in Southeast throughout the day, several hours early today in Anacostia, but there's beefed up security there as well as continuing here at Union Station, as you just mentioned. However, in Anacostia, they say that they've seen federal agents late at night throughout the past several days working on city streets. And it's the beefed up presence of police without direct community ties that has many feeling uneasy.
Our son was gunned down, just living in the wrong neighborhood, so violence do occur.
In the heart of Anacostia, Darrell Gaston is among many residents who want bad actors off the streets. Inside his Kitchen Savages restaurant, he told us federal agents are now being spotted throughout Ward 8.
We see them on 16th Street, we see them around Mellon Street, we see them around 10th Place. They're here.
Police and immigration checkpoints continue to be reported by residents, often on social media and online community forums. Over the weekend, governors, all Republican, announced they'll deploy members of their National Guard to D.C., siding with President Trump's claim that crime is out of control.
This doesn't make sense. You know it doesn't make sense.
Mayor Bowser on the defensive Monday, and like many residents we talked to, upset with the federal deployment that's only growing.
The numbers on the ground in the district don't support 1,000 people from other states coming to Washington, D.C. You know that. You know it couldn't be done in a neighboring state. You know that.
Governors announcing how many National Guard troops they're sending. 300 to 400 from West Virginia, 200 from South Carolina, as well as from Mississippi, 150 from Ohio, and 135 from Louisiana.
I think it is kind of makes the point that this is not about D.C. crime.
Added resources to make my community safe is always a good thing. I don't think the federal government, who's not trained in community policing, was the right move to be those extra resources that the community needs.
And again, add Tennessee's National Guard to that list. It's growing. Now, residents tell me they hope D.C. police take up a leadership role when they work alongside federal agents, because they say local cops already have personal and professional connections in their communities. Meantime, community members are already starting to host Know Your Rights type events in order to make people feel a little bit more secure and look out for their safety. There was one scheduled earlier tonight at the Go-Go Museum in Anacostia, but that was rained out. Outside of Union Station, Ben Dennis, back to you.
All right, Ben, thank you so much. More than 100 people gathering in the district to protest those hundreds of federal officers and National Guard troops now patrolling the district. Take a look at the rally on 14th and U streets near last week's federal checkpoint, where agents arrested dozens of people, but mainly for immigration violations. It's also close to where witnesses say a food delivery driver was violently arrested over the weekend.
Not safe. We are in a state of emergency right now. We are being watched, we are being targeted, and it's not safe to walk alone. We will not let our people be snatched, kidnapped, abused, or disappeared by the state.
Free DC is the organizer of the recent rallies here and is calling the presence of federal agents to be a danger to people in the district.
It's a federal takeover also being blamed on fewer people coming out to clubs and bars in Northwest.
Several owners say that they have lost thousands of dollars because people stayed home or went elsewhere to avoid the really intimidating sight. DC News Now's Daniel Hamburg joining us live there at 14th and U.
Yeah, so Daniel, that's where we saw checkpoints set up last week. What are these business owners telling you?
Well, Chris and Susan, these business owners are telling me that the federal police presence, particularly on this stretch of 14th Street, really impacted business here at Crush over the last several days. And it's not the only gay bar in the area that's had these issues. Starting Wednesday night, traffic stops on 14th Street, just a block north of Crush Dance Bar, had people worried.
Not knowing who it is or what agency they're from.
Co-owner Stephen Rutgers says it deterred people from coming out.
Friday was our slowest night we've ever had. We lost probably $15,000. And more importantly for that, it's not even just the business money, it's our staff and the tips and their hours, and we had to cut people.
In Adams Morgan, pitchers also struggled.
We've been so dead. Like Friday was miserable. I went down to other bars and it was miserable at those bars. Saturday we took a huge hit too. Sunday we were just completely dead.
Owner David Peruza even had a drag queen who didn't want to come to work.
She's in an Uber and she's at a checkpoint and she's in full drag and they ask for IDs. She's not going to look like her ID.
Though there hasn't been much of a police presence on 18th Street, Peruza says the federal takeover is still to blame.
I've been doing this for 30 years. I know about the August slump, and then I know what this is doing to my business. So it's not the August slump. It's definitely what they're doing to our city.
With dozens of staff members to pay, both bar owners are dealing with uncertainty.
Business owners in general are worried because we don't know how long it's going to last. And I think it's deterred a lot of people from either coming into the city to go out or people that live in the city. It's deterred them just to stay at home.
Now, both business owners tell me that they understand the fear that a lot of people have, but they want to reiterate that these are safe spaces and they want people to go to your local business and help people out so that those staff members can get paid too. We're live in Northwest. Daniel Hamburg, DC News Now.
Well, President Trump touting his efforts as bringing a new wave of safety to D.C.
Friends are calling me up, Democrats are calling me up, and they're saying, sir, I want to thank you. My wife and I went out to dinner last night for the first time in 4 years, and Washington, D.C. is safe, and you did that in 4 days.
Well, the president also saying restaurants are busier than ever, but new data from Open Table shows reservations in D.C. are down significantly over the last week. We'll have much more on that coming up in our next half hour. And you can see our full continuing coverage of the federal takeover of D.C. police on our website. You'll also find the many reactions to the president's actions, what D.C. families can expect, and a breakdown of violent crime stats that police say is at a 30-year low. Just go to DCNewsNow.com and click on the DC Takeover tab.
All right, let's turn our attention to Chief Meteorologist Jackie Lair. It does not feel like mid-August at this point.
No.
Pretty refreshing.
Yeah, it does feel quite nice out there, although there are a few sprinkles to talk about.
Okay.
A little bit of that mist as well, but I mean, the temperatures feeling much better than what we had yesterday. Yesterday, we had those highs into those middle 90s. Out there right now, temperatures gradually cooling off still. We're into those upper 60s to right about 70 degrees at this hour. About 10-degree difference from yesterday evening around this time. time. We do have that persistent breeze coming in mainly out of the north and east, and that northeasterly wind has kept us on the cooler side for much of the day today, along with the cloud cover, and also thanks to the cold front that swept through yesterday evening that did bring us some thunderstorms. But out there right now, a couple of those sprinkles out there, mainly along and east of the I-95 corridor. So we're seeing a few of those across still southern Maryland and even down across just to the east of Fredericksburg right now. That's where we're dealing with a few of those showers at this point. But overnight lows tonight fall back into those 60s for most of the area. We're talking lower 60s back out towards the mountains region. Starting off tomorrow morning, we're talking about those 60s as well. Likely cloudy skies, but we count that chance for a few sprinkles out there for your Tuesday morning commute. But tomorrow afternoon, very similar to the day today. So if you like today's forecast, I think you're going to like tomorrow's forecast as well. But when does summer-like temperatures return? All of those details. Look at that 7-day coming up.
All right, Jackie, we are following breaking news out of Baltimore tonight. An apparent explosion on a cargo ship right near the site of the Key Bridge collapsed, sending massive flames and smoke into the night sky. Take a look at the details we know so far. Firefighters say that the blast happened aboard a W Sapphire cargo ship in the Patapsco River. They say the damage is consistent with that of a fire and explosion, and all 23 crew members are accounted for. No one is hurt. The ship will be towed to a designated spot. It's unclear right now what the cargo ship was carrying, but investigators are continuing to look into what caused the blast.
Meanwhile, the Trump administration is threatening to pull federal funding from 6 Northern Virginia school districts.
It's where school leaders say they're going to continue to allow children to use bathrooms matching their gender identities. DC News Now's Yamrisa Say has more from parents on defining and defying potentially very costly stance.
Yeah, now parents and teachers say they're happy that the school system stood their ground, but at the same time, they are concerned about what losing federal funding could mean for students.
I'm concerned but happy that our community protects us.
Mixed emotions from parents and teachers with Fairfax County Public School pride. That's after the U.S. Department of Education announced it will suspend or terminate federal funding for several Northern Virginia school districts.
It's critical funding for our Title I schools, which are schools that serve a majority lower income student population, but also for students with learning disabilities.
Now this move comes after districts in Loudoun County, the city of Alexandria, Arlington, Fairfax County, and Prince William County refused to roll back policies allowing transgender students to use bathrooms based on their gender identity. Fairfax County Public Schools responded in a statement saying, FCPS remains dedicated to creating a safe, supportive, and inclusive school environment for all students and staff members, including our transgender and gender expansive community.
It was a great relief, and we were able to have joy.
They were going to stand up for their students, stand up for their staff, stand up for their families. It made me feel very emotional.
But the Department of Education says noncompliance comes with consequences, writing, the agency will commence administrative proceedings to effect the suspension of termination of federal financial assistance to these divisions.
It's an excuse to dismantle public ed.
If we don't stand up for the civil rights of each and every one of our students, staff, and school districts, it feels like it's not even American if we don't stand up for that.
Reporting in Fairfax County, I'm Yamrisa Say, DC News Now.
Meanwhile, also in Virginia, the State Board of Health voted to write a new regulation banning transgender women from competing on women's sports teams. Now, most of the board was appointed by Governor Glenn Youngkin. The vote came after 3 college swimmers asked the board to write a new rule that will also bar transgender women from any spaces that women might undress in. LGBTQ plus rights advocates with Equality Virginia say the proposed regulation is simply a way to attack the very existence of trans women.
The core of this petition is a desire to label a specific group of Virginians as harmful based solely on their identity.
Men and women biologically are different. It's not about identity or anything else. It's about biological sex and fair competition and access to things like scholarships, things like roster spots, and just safety in our locker rooms.
In December, the NCAA president telling Congress he was aware of fewer than 10 transgender college athletes. This out of more than 500,000 total athletes. He did not say whether that number includes transgender men. As for what happens next, the Board of Health will draft the actual regulation. It will then go through a potentially years-long process before it can be adopted.